All right, now there is another way in which you can solve the same problem. Okay, so in the previous approach, what we did was, given a number, let's say, I don't know, a 6-digit number, such as 4 6 9 7 1 2 or something, right? We started isolating the digits from the left. So we first isolated 4, right? D1 equals 4, and then we isolated and we took the remainder, which is 6 9 7 1 2, and then from that number we isolated the leftmost digit, which is 6. So D2 was 6, and then we take the remainder, right? 9 7 1 2, isolate the leftmost digit from that number, save it in D3. So D3 would be 9, right? And then again take 7 1 2, the remainder, which is and we divide it by 100, and then we isolate the leftmost digit of that number, and then save it in D4, and so on and so forth, right? So we start isolating from a leftmost direction, from the leftmost direction. Okay, so we start isolating the digits from the leftmost, from the left direction. Okay, the digits from the left. Okay, now there is another way in which we can perform the action, right? The same action, which is isolating the digits, but we can do it from the right side. Okay, we can do it from the right side. And in that approach, instead of dividing by 100,000, right, and then 10,000, and then 1,000, right, 100, what we do is we divide this thing by 10. We just divide it by 10 every time. Okay, divide by 10 modulo 10. Okay, that's what we do again and again, right? So let's see how that method works. All right, now let's see how we can isolate the digits from the right and I separate the number, or split the number into the individual digits, right? So just as before, let's say we have a variable n, and there is a number stored in that variable, right? And the number you don't know beforehand, but whatever number the user provides, it will work. Your program will work, right? As long as it's a 6-digit number. Now let's assume for now that the number stored in the variable n is, I don't know, 419025, right? 6 digits. So the first thing we do is we take the modulo of this number in 10, right? So n modulo 10. What will this give us? If you divide this number, 41025 by 10, the result would be 41902 decimal 5, right? And anything after the decimal would be the remainder, right? That's my remainder. Now, as you can see, the remainder is actually the rightmost digit, right? So we have isolated the rightmost digit from this number. So all I need to do is save this number, this digit, into a variable of its own. And let's call it 6, because this is the 6th digit. So I'll just say D6 for 6th digit equals, right, n modulo 10. Now how do we isolate the remaining, the quotient? All we do is the integer division, right? The n divided by 10 will give us the quotient, which is 41902, right? So the quotient, the D6 has the value 5, and the quotient Q has the value 41902. By the way, just like in the previous approach, you could have named this n. So you could have said, for example, n equals n equals n divided by 10, and what that would have done is you would have updated the value of n from 419025 to 41902, right? It's the same thing. You can follow either approach, right? So let's just, for the sake of simplicity, let's just keep it at q, keep it to q. So that's the quotient equals n times 10. Now once we get that quotient, which is the left part of that, we then isolate the rightmost digit from that left part, right? So what we do is we take the quotient q and we divide, modulo. we divide it by 10 and take the remainder, right? So we divide it by 10 and take the remainder by using the modulo operator, right? And then we store that in the variable d5 because that's our fifth digit, right? Because if you divide this number by 10, you get 4190 decimal 2, and the remainder, which is 2, is actually the fifth digit, right? This one. So that is stored in the variable 5, and the quotient is that you get is 4190. So what we do is we update the variable q. Q equals q integer division 10, so divided by 10, right? So the new value of q is equal to the old value of q divided by 10, right? So the old value of q was 4190, right? D5 would be 2, right? D5 would be 2, and I'm sorry, the old value of q was yeah, and the new value of q would be 4190, right? And you keep going. So again, with that q, you divide it by 10, right? So q modulo 10 and take the remainder equals to your fourth digit d4, right? And q equals q over 10, right? So again, what happens is q was 4190, right? When you divide it by 10, you get 419 decimal 0. So your remainder is 0, right? And that's your fourth digit, which is true, right? The remainder is 0 and that's your fourth digit. D4 has 0, and the variable q is updated. Q now contains 419. Okay, and you keep going and keep going. All you do is you do a modulo 10 and then divide by 10, and you'll end up isolating all the individual digits. Okay,